This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Welcome everybody to the Easthampton City Council Finance Committee meeting for March 26, 2025, 5:30 p.m. We have minutes from our last meeting to approve, so I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of March 12th.
So moved. Second.
A second, all in favor?
Aye.
Cool. Motion passes 3-0. Mayor's communication. Mayor, anything?
None.
Okay. Public speak. I see we have one member of the public here on Google Meets. Jean, would you like to say anything? No? Okay. Then I guess we'll just get right into new business. We've got a supplemental appropriation of $18,168.28 from capital stabilization to upgrade the city's ICP voting tabulators. And I assume that that's what you two are here for. So tell us about the new tabulators.
Okay. All right. So a couple weeks ago, I was approached by Jeff Silvestro from our election vendor, LHS, to see if we might be interested in upgrading our ICPs. We bought them in 2018. We bought six. We bought 6 tabulators. I wanted one extra because I didn't know what was going on with early voting. So we bought them and they've worked fine. And truthfully, they still work fine. In the meantime, I looked this up today. In 2020, with money from a grant, we bought 2 more. So we have 8 of them. The 2 extra that we bought, we were able to get for $300. Wow. $150 each. It was a buyout of a lease, and this was during COVID, and so we have 8 machines. So they work good. I kind of look at this as trading in a car when it's still in good shape. We could continue to use our tabulators. One thing about them is that they're pretty slow. Mm-hmm. As I'm sure Peg knows for sure. They're slow.
I've noticed that as well.
Yeah, and if you add in a ranked choice voting,
staying with hurt feeling, or I have deep emotions around this topic.
Yeah, especially if there's a ranked choice voting race, they really, there's a lot of stuff going on in the inside, and it takes a lot for every single ballot. Then the Gen 2 ICPs, they're not hugely faster. I think their general voter will probably not notice a difference, but I think that people of us testing, advanced processing, it'll be a little bit faster. The screen that we have on our current ICPs are fine, but they're not real modern looking. And the screens on the new ICPs they're easier to understand. I think they're in color. They just look more up to date. The message is better. So those things are kind of the base, but he came up with a really good deal. And I'll tell you what it is. First of all, I think we really only need 7. We have 8 just because I picked up the 2 extra for basically nothing. And it's nice during advanced processing to have the extra ones, but for the most part, we don't really need them. And we don't have a lot of storage room in the basement. We've got most of the stuff stored in the furnace room. The other one is tucked away in another storage room. So in my opinion, most of the time, I don't think we don't need 8, but having 7 it's nice to have a couple extra, especially the tops, the brains. There's the brain, and then there's the box. If something happened in the poll, I always have the extras in my car because if something happens,
They're still removable.
yep, you can always test them ahead of time. You can take the cards out and put a new one in. So it's always good to have a couple extra. During advanced processing, it's nice to have a couple extra. So in my opinion, I think 7's enough. We have 5 precincts, that's 2 extra. So what Jeff is proposing is he's talking about upgrading the tabulator part and retrofitting the boxes. So really, we're just going to get mostly the top part. For $5,200 each, it comes to $36,400. But we're going to return 1 full ballot box and top. We're going to send that back. He's giving us $1,000 for that. Remembering, we paid $150 for that. So we're making money on it.
Right.
And then the manufacturer is giving $1,200 off the $5,200. So that is $8,400 off. So the $36,004 minus the $1,000 to give back the 1 ballot box, and then we get $8,400 off. That's cuts the price down to $27,000. Now you're not being asked for $27,000 because I actually have some money that I can apply towards it. During elections, when we have a state election, the state gives us money. It's called extended polling hours money. And it's money for the 3 hours. It's extended polling hours that we get. And it goes into the election budget and it can be used for anything election related. It doesn't go back to the general fund like a reimbursement, but it goes into a fund. And I have money left from 22 and 24. And that amount is $4,876. And then from my election budget, because we're through with the elections for this year, and there was a line item to pay me for any additional hours, we don't have any more elections this year. So I'm like, I can give that back. That's almost $3,000. And then because we're through with elections, but I want to leave Mary Ann with a little bit in case she needs to hire extra people, I said we could do $1,000. So that brings the whole total. So it comes up to only $18,168 that I'm asking from capital stabilization. This is an item that is going to last hopefully for 10 years. You know, we've had our current one since 2018, and the ones before that we had for 20 years. So it is a piece of equipment that will last hopefully for a few years. So it just seems like a really good time. And also another really good thing about this is it includes a year warranty. So we won't have to pay for the ICP maintenance for this year because it's covered by this. It includes training and area coverage for the first selection, which will be Mary Ann's first selection, you know, as the clerk, which I think is really good. So all those things, I thought the timing was really like perfect and many aspects.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like trading in a car when you've got something that's still worth something. And I think that the incentives and the discounts are really make it really timely. So I think that's kind of. Yeah.
So, may I ask a question? Your Honor? Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I didn't see your hand.
No, that's what I just want to be clear when you say no other elections this year. We're talking about fiscal year 2025.
We're talking about, yes.
Yep. So,
I mean, the next elections after the November election will be the fall of 26.
and then I just want to be clear that when you were talking about ranked choice voting, this will help with that.
We'll make it
Get
be a little
bit
faster.
right? So I just want to make sure that was
Yeah,
kind
the
of one
actual softwares, it's the same, but the processor in the tabulator is faster.
Yep. Okay.
I mean, every little bit counts.
Yeah.
Relative to the one you're gonna keep from the current group, is the module of that going to work with, like, it'll work just the same as it does today, just in its normal slow way versus the new ones, which are slightly faster. But if you had to pull this into the election, it would have no bearing on anything. It would just be a different kind of machine. Can you use them interchangeably?
Well, we're not gonna have any of the old ones.
I thought you said you were gonna keep one.
No, we're gonna give one back. One,
Right.
so right now we have 8.
Right.
We're gonna trade in, we're gonna tell them to take one whole box and top, and we're trading that in. So we're only gonna end up with 7. They're gonna take all 7.
Oh, they're gonna modify those 7.
Yeah, so they're
Got it.
gonna give us new tops,
Got
the tabulator
Yes,
things.
so
but
those
we're-
will all be,
Yeah, we're
the
gonna
same.
keep the boxes and they have to do some kind of retrofitting
Okay.
to the boxes.
I missed that.
But so the tops, they're gonna take all of them that we have now, and they're gonna bring in the new ones.
And when you say the little screen on the
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
is it gonna be more user-friendly? Like, will
Yes.
the words
Yes.
actually mean something
Well, I
to a
don't know
person
the
looking at them?
I don't know the exact wording, but I've seen them
Asking
at
for a lot.
conferences, and they did look like they were easier
Okay.
to understand.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
And I think they're in color too.
Oh, well, sold.
They will look more like modern
Mhm. Okay, and
from what I've seen at conferences.
you can use them same way, little training will be needed?
Yes, I don't think there's gonna be all that much difference to them.
Okay,
But they'll, enough that they are agreeing to have training and coverage, not sitting in Easthampton all day, but close enough to come and help if we need it.
okay. Is this the same brand or?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yep, it's just the next generation up.
Well, I think that's good. And I'm definitely conscious of the fact that like that little processing delay, like as a voter, I barely notice it, but if it's happening one person after another, it does add up. And
Yeah.
so if we can cut that down by a little bit, make,
Right, it's not, so like, to give an example, when we're testing the ballots for like, a state election or primary, you gotta do 50, like for primary, you gotta do 50 per ballot style. So you gotta do 50 Dems and 50 reps, and you gotta run them through all 8 machines. And then if you're doing advanced processing, you have doubles, you gotta run them through 10 times. It takes about, I think I kept track, it was at least 20 minutes to do like 50 ballots. And you gotta go take them out. And then if that's without any interruptions at all. And it's like horribly slow. And this is not gonna be all that much faster. It's not like the high-speed tabulators, which we could, the high-speed scanners that we could pay like really big bucks for and get, but it is faster, a little bit faster.
okay,
And does I'm sorry,
okay.
taking advantage. And because the box is still the box, the way they drop in and the way they filter down below, same.
That'll be the same.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they have to do to retrofit it, but whatever they do, I don't think it's anything too big.
Okay. Any other questions? I think it's a good idea. I like your point about trading things in while they still have some value. And I think it would be good to just have access to some support in the first election in my lifetime that you will not be running in Easthampton. So I think that, I think that there's a lot of stuff to like about this.
Yeah, it was like when he emailed, I was like, oh, this is like perfect timing on so many, in points. It was, I thought.
Okay.
And Mary Ann gets a brand new set of tabulators. So that's
Brand new
exciting.
stuff. Yep.
Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, I would entertain a motion to recommend this appropriation to the full council.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Yeah, great. Super. So we'll take this up in a week.
Perfect.
Thank you. Continuing business. Do we have any update on the reports?
I'm waiting to get the confirmation from the external auditors on my reports. They're almost in. They will be on site tomorrow for one more day and 2 days at retirement board. So hopefully in next couple of weeks, they'll give me the final, like to
Okay, super. Sounds good. Well, that's everything on our agenda, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Do you want to share the dates?
Oh,
of
yes,
the-
yes, of course. I'm sorry. So yeah, just one more thing, just for the benefit of everyone in the room. We are coming up pretty close on budget season. So just as a reminder, where as it stands right now, we're going to be meeting about the budget over the course of 5 days. April 28th is revenue, general government, CPA. That starts at 5 p.m. April 29th, public safety, human services, unclassified. That starts at 5:30. April 30th, public works, enterprise, culture and recreation. That starts at 5:30. May 12th. So then we get like 2 weeks off, and then May 12th, education, debt and interest at 5, and May 14th is our final vote. So
So are you looking to do the vote earlier than usual?
No, the final vote I
Sure.
thought was May 21st by
Yeah.
council
yeah, the final vote
for us.
for us in finance committee would be the 14th and then the 21st.
Because usually the vote is first beginning of June, so it's good to have it
Well,
earlier.
It builds us
It's
in
early.
2 weeks, so if something goes crazy, then, we have some time to chew it over.
And-
It's fiscal chaos we can handle.
No, it's good. I think.
And is
Yeah.
the May 21st date a hard date, or is that something like to have the budget approved by council?
I think it needs to be approved by the end of the fiscal year, so if
Okay.
for some reason we have to continue it, I'd rather not,
Some
but if,
wiggle room, yeah.
if we have to, we have some wiggle room without anything going chaotic or us having to schedule a special meeting or anything like that. So I think we're in a good place where we can have these conversations at a sane pace. And if we have to have, what I always don't like with these things is situations where a question comes up and we're like, we don't have time to discuss
Right,
this. There's
that's
gonna
not
be
happening.
catastrophe if we don't vote right now. It's like, it's a good question, but we don't have time.
Right.
So I think we can avoid that by just, having this a little bit early. And so that's sort of where we are right now. And we get there's a week in between like the first set of votes and the second. So it's hopefully we don't all burn out too hard. So
Will the meetings start at 5:30?
some of them start at 5:30, but the first one starts at 5. Yeah, all the rest start at 5:30.
Okay. I just school is asking like when their hearing is here. So it would be May 12th at 5:30.
Correct.
Okay, great.
And if there's anyone, like these are dates that me and Lindsay talked about in
Yeah.
like January. So if there's a department that for whatever reason has like a huge problem with any of these, I think we have enough time that we can
Yeah,
potentially work on something else. I just, that's where things stand right now,
Yep.
unless there's a problem.
I just have to take this car.
Bye-bye.
All right, now I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I had one question.
Okay.
Or a statement, really, before we go there.
I'm
Sure.
So on these
Good.
budgets where you just said, if we need to move things around, we're gonna give the public a lot of notice if we have to move a meeting, because I think
course.
once we publish these,
Yeah,
then I think we need to try really hard to keep to them. But if we have to, then we need to be really loud and
I
let
agree.
everybody know.
And like I said, I worked through I talked through these with Lindsay, so I'm operating on the assumption that Lindsay ran these dates by the relevant department heads and that these are clear to
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
But if for some reason
Sure.
something were to come up, we have enough time that I think we could address it and publicize that.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just not a fan of like, oh, we can't do it tomorrow, we'll do it the next day.
Yeah.
We need a bigger runway for a budget conversation.
100%.
Okay, now I move that we adjourn.
Second,
Okay.
although, since there's a discussion, this is Barbara's last finance meeting, so I just want to acknowledge that.
Sure. Thank you,
Are
Barbara.
you sad about it? Is that a
Is
tear
the la- the
rolling
last
down?
finance
Is a
meeting?
tear
No.
rolling
This
down
the
your
part
eyes?
that was
This
so
is my
exciting.
outgoing president of the
Yeah.
council to
Yes.
get these guys.
You didn't
I
get her
pushed
anything
it
tonight. She
through
got us
so it would
something.
happen, like, so I could be here tonight to tell you about
This is
it.
And
your
we
present for
can't be
us.
It
more
says
grateful.
my outgoing president.
But thank you, Barbara, for
Mhm.
everything you have done for the
Yes.
city, from the finance committee to you. Big
Thank you,
hugs.
Patty.
And thank you for getting new tabulators.
Oh, I know. Someday you'll appreciate
I
this.
hope to do it next year.
All right.
All right.
Motion a second. All in favor?
I am.
Thanks, everybody.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.